In this video, I will be explaining the difference between public and private universities because they have different funding models, they have different entry requirements, they have different ownerships, and before you decide on which one to apply for, is it private or public university, it is important that you get to understand all this information so that you can make the correct choice. Now, when you log into your portal when you are applying, for example, in this case, if I want to apply for Bachelor of Commerce and I come to this point, now how I came to this point, you can check out our channel. We have a video explaining how you can choose a degree courses, a diploma, or any other level of course. And when I come to at this point, when I click on Become, we have this column here, which is institution type. And institution type, the KUCCPS is telling you whether that university is public or private. And private institutions are marked in red, public institutions are marked in green. Now, which ones do you choose and which criteria do you use to choose? Because it is largely going to determine the kind of funding that you're going to receive from the government and also the entry requirements. The first difference is ownership. The public universities are owned and funded by the government of Kenya. The public universities in Kenya, they are owned by the government. But the private universities are owned by individuals or organizations like churches. So private institutions operate independently. There are those rules that they need to follow according to the education system of Kenya, but they are managed by private institutions. The second difference is funding eligibility. Now, if you join a public university, you are eligible for both scholarship and loans from the government, because you have to understand that the government gives two types of funding. We have scholarships and we have loans. And a scholarship means that you are not going to pay back. So, for example, if your school fees is 230,000 and the government decides to give you a scholarship of 200,000 and then a loan of 20,000, you are going to pay back that 20,000 with interest after you graduate, but you are not going to pay back the 200,000 because it was scholarship. If you join a public university, you are eligible for scholarship. But if you join a private university, you are not eligible for scholarship. However, all students, whether you are in public or private university, are eligible for government loans. So understand that about funding. It is one of the factors that should determine which university you choose. If you are able to pay the whole school fees for yourself, depending on the program that you choose, you can go to any institution, public or private. But if you are not able to raise the whole amount, then I suggest that you choose a public university, because government scholarships are very helpful and they are actually larger than the loans that you are given. So it is important for you to choose a public university if you cannot afford to pay the whole amount. In some programs, it is even over 200,000 because they put in the whole of it starting from last year but one. The government has disclosed the exact amount that they give to universities. They give to students as a scholarship and then it is paid to the university. So you have to choose wisely depending on your financial capability. Another difference is learning environment. Now, while both public and private institutions have good learning environment, you'll find that public institutions or public universities tend to have a larger population, so it is not as suitable as the public universities. So if the learning environment is very important to you, private universities are better. Another difference is the KUCCPS placement opportunities. If you choose a public universities, the slots available are more, but the slots for the private universities are less, so you are more likely to be placed in a public university if you choose it. And if there are a lot of students who have applied to the private university that you have applied to, there are less slots that are available, so the public institution is better when it comes to the available opportunities. Then we have admission requirements. Both public and private institutions require a minimum of a C+ for you to be placed in a degree program. However, sometimes you can find that the cluster points requirement for the private universities are less or lower in some of the courses. So it is upon you to check when applying. There is that column which shows the cluster points that you have and those that are required for you to join that university. You can check. Sometimes the private universities are favorable and you can qualify for it and not qualify for the public universities. All these are important factors to consider before you decide whether you are going to join a public or a private university in Kenya. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and share and also check out our channel. We have more videos about KUCCPS and the Kenya education system in general. Thank you.